Welcome back, you little shits.
You little shitters.
You little fuckers. You little bastards. Anyway.
From this minor war.
Anyway, this is this is what all we're watching. Ow. Of Man TT near death moments. We're hopping. We're hopping.
To this jaw-dropping brush with the afterlife.
This is Paul Orrin, zigzag clever at the bottom of Grey Hill.
These are the Isle of Man TT close calls. We kicked things off back in 2017, where James Hillier had the fright of his life. He was full throttle in 5th, heading to Ballagary, or as it's more commonly called, Ballascary. And if you're not familiar with the TT, here's the thing. At Ballascary, there's no space to negotiate. There's stone walls, telegraph poles, and spectators lining both sides of the road, trusting the rider gets it right. He hits the rise, the suspension unloads, and out of nowhere, he sees his life flash before his eyes.
Oh my! Whoa! What a moment that was! That is ridiculous.
I don't know about you, but just watching that puckered my butthole. I mean, what a save. Absolutely incredible stuff from Hillier to keep his shit together in that heart-in-mouth moment. But make no mistake, if that felt uncomfortable to watch, you need to lock in, because this list is only just getting started. Up next is some absolute nightmare fuel. James Cowton was charging on, ahead of Horst Zeiger at the TT back in 2016. He was fully committed, doing exactly what the TT demands if you want to survive at race pace. But in a split second, everything went horribly wrong.
Shit. That's a big one there. That's fast as 120 odd mile an hour.
If Horst was just 2 or 3 tenths further behind, we'd be watching this footage through a completely different lens. Sheer dumb luck in overtime right there. Now, speaking of things going horribly wrong in a split second, let's talk about something that can absolutely ruin your day, but in a very different way. Because while these lads are risking life and limb on the mountain course, most of us are out here risking our bank details on dodgy public Wi-Fi. Yeah, not quite as glamorous, and that's where today's video sponsor comes in, NordVPN. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's VPN got to do with the Isle of Man TT? Well, hear me out. At the TT, if you make one mistake at 180 miles per hour, you're in a wall. Online, one wrong click, and your data, passwords, and even your identity lives properly, because, as you may have guessed, there's plenty more close calls on this list. It was a sighting lap and a moment where riders tested out the limits, but as James Hine was coming through the post sign corner, his bike just tries to buck him. Just look at the slow-mo replay, narrowly missing that corner and wrestling the bike back under control to ride it out. He somehow managed to keep going, but just moments later, race favourite Michael Dunlop sped straight on, missing the corner at Jubilee Oak. He seamlessly rejoined behind Josh Brooks and managed to fight his way back to second.
150, 160, one behind.
They just disappeared and reappeared.
Inside 189 miles per hour.
Unbelievable.
Well, look at the gap.
Cam, sorry to interrupt. It's 0.2, 2 tenths, less than 3 tenths of a second between Todd and Dunlop. Dunlop is right there. Davey Todd must respond on this final lap.
I don't know about you, but watching 2 absolute heart-in-mouth saves back-to-back like that felt like a pure nightmare. Now, I don't know if you get nightmares, but each time you smash that subscribe button, it helps me forget mine. But if you think that was a lucky escape, you better brace yourself for what's coming next. I'm talking about John McGuinness pulling off this save of the year. John was pushing, his teammate Dean Harrison was catching up, but approaching Argo's lead, he was pushing, perhaps a little bit too hard. Despite being a course legend with decades of experience and a feel for the mountain course, it wasn't just an epic save, but an extremely uncomfortable watch. And even more impressive was that 52-year-old just kept on pushing. But maybe he got his inspiration from somewhere. Jamie Coward, perhaps? The Crosby jump is, well, a jump. Bikes are meant to take to the air. But in 2022, Jamie rolled up to Crosby and proved who has the biggest balls.
Here is
The biggest balls.
all over the Crosby jump. That is a.
I give him a 6 out of 10, but a perfect 10 for the save. It was sketchy as fuck, and the Crosby jump wasn't done yet. Ian Hutchinson is no stranger to the IOM. I mean, my guy broke his leg in 2017.
Just him breaking his leg?
Oh! Hutchie's down. He's
Yeah, Ian Hutch, number 4 has gone down.
Most men would call it a day, but Hutchie, he came back for some more, specifically the 2025 Isle of Man, and he was going to show up Jamie for sure. He hit Crosby jump, but he didn't just get a 1-wheel wobble, he got a 2-wheel moment. A part of me feels that it was even harder to control, but hey, I'm no expert. He still went on to finish 5th in the Superstock TT Race 1. That wasn't just a lucky escape, it was fate intervening like this Italian almost taking a scenic plunge. We're throwing it back to 2016 and the year Alessandro Polita made his Isle of Man debut. Now, I know we've had crazy debutant moments like Jonathan Howarth in 2013, but 3 years later, Gooseneck almost claimed another newcomer. The Italian came in a little hot, but managed to get it stopped. It was almost a high-speed trip into the scenery. But where things get really scary is when nature gets involved. I'm talking about Klaus Klaffenbach and Dan Sale. They narrowly won both sidecar races at the 2010 TT. In the following year, the two legends were going for more gold, but nature almost intervened. That small little speck, that was a bird that just hit them at full speed. Claffy still went on to win the race. Not even nature could slow him down. Again, we go back to Crosby, and it really seems like this part of the track is known for its close calls. It's the final lap of the Superstock race, and just like every other rider, Maurizio Bortalico was on the edge. I mean, he literally sliced his shoulder at almost 100 miles per hour. But here's the kicker. He fought through the pain to finish the race. He didn't race on Sunday in the senior race, but it made me question the philosophy of when in doubt, gas it out. Especially when slowing down saved this next man's life. Specifically, Barry Ferber. It's 2017 and everyone is pushing like crazy through conker trees. But Baz, he was ramping the speed up a notch. That was way too close for comfort.
Oh
you can even
my
hear fans asking if you stayed on the bike. And if that made you shift in your seat a bit, the next close call shows what happens when a rider runs out of road completely. So far we've seen narrow misses.
And oh my...
And crazy tank slappers. But sometimes a rider just runs out of road. Like Josh Brooks in 2024. He was riding through Kirkmichael, pushing his BMW to the limit, and he almost ran out of tarmac. But it wasn't his only problem, because later in the race, he literally snapped the chain off his bike.
Damn!
Effectively ending the race for the Australian. And if there's one section of the track everyone respects, it's Balloch Bridge. 2014 was an absolute horror show. Everyone remembers this moment. The moment Bob Price, sadly, lost his life.
Oh. Damn.
But in that same year, the jump bridge almost collected another victim.
Buddy. Oh.
That's Phil Crow, almost doing the exact same thing. He was carrying way more speed than he needed, narrowly saving the bike at the last second. Almost like Davo did, exactly a decade later. It was 2024 and Davo showed us what happens when you completely lose control. It was lap 6 of the Superbike race. Now, K-Tree is the kind of spot riders can reach up to 140 miles per hour, and David Johnson was no stranger to it. He's been around the paddock since 2010, but 2024 would be one of his worst moments. He faced a crazy wobble around the corner, losing the bike in the most spectacular fashion. Fortunately, he walked away. He was even in good spirits for the interview afterwards.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a fast slip off, but yeah, unusual, just caught me off guard big time. And
even calling it a bit of a slip-off. It proved once again that despite the danger, every one of these men enjoys the thrill. Now, many of us love MotoGP, but a slide when you have a gravel runoff is completely different from where the barrier is a brick wall. When Rossi drifted the bike in a MotoGP race, no one batted an eye. We knew, if he falls, he'll probably be hurt, but the risk of dying is almost zero. But when it happens at the Isle of Man, your heart sinks into your stomach. And in 2025, Davey Todd gave us that exact feeling, with Dunlop chasing.
As we see that man doing the chasing, Michael Dunlop.
Todd was taking risks. First, he was late on the brakes.
Oh, Todd is late on the brakes, rear wheel up.
But the biggest moment came at Ballyscary.
Davey. Whoa.
That's a big moment at Ballagary there.
What a catch! And here's the kicker. If he lost the rear, the only thing that resembled a barrier would have been a brick wall. And yeah, despite this, Todd still won the Superbike race.
Touchdown behind the pairing now over the start-finish line, and he's done it. Todd takes his third TT.
Today, Paul Orrit is a paddock legend, but in 1999, at the turn of the century, this legend had his life fully in the hands of God. It was at Bray Hill, perhaps the most entertaining part of the track. Orrit was speeding down when he faced the death wobble.
Oh, this is Paul Orrit. Paul Orrit in a big back camber at the bottom of Bray Hill and into the bank at the side of rail, and the bump
Yeah, that
ducked
didn't
out of the way there.
His Honda hit a bump, but not the kind you can simply ride out. The bike was just done. He controlled it just enough to avoid the crowd. But the aftermath is where the real tragedy hit. Or it survived, yeah. But he tragically lost a finger, and I bet trading your life for a limb is something anyone would say. It rattles me thinking about a bike that can leave you out of control and almost take your life just because of a bump on the road. But these men survived. They defied the laws of gravity and definitely had some sort of guardian angel protecting them. But more often than not, the Isle of Man ends in tragedy. To see the worst crashes caught on camera, check out this video next. And as always,
Dude,
Lost the whole thingy, man.
a fucking thingy.
I wonder what one it was.
It'd suck if it was that one.
Yeah.
That would be the worst.
Yeah.
Imagine not having those.
I mean, that sucked. You know?
Absolutely.
That wouldn't be good.
Absolutely.
Not a good time.
I'd lose it probably, honestly. I wouldn't like that at all.
No.
Anyway, you little shit.
Catch you later, cool dudes.
We'll catch you later, you cool little shit.
On the flip.